The teacher at the high school actually had a conference with my parents and was like, listen, he's the most talented like male singer I've probably came across, and like he really be wasting his, given talents if he doesn't do something with it.
Huh.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll minor in music. Man, I didn't even know a damn key on the piano, brother. I didn't know anything. I met a great mentor later on in my journey who really taught me like optimism and positivity and the fact that you can't control circumstances. You can control your reaction to circumstances. Quote that, people. Circumstances are 100%
Ain't that
uncontrollable,
Ryan?
but your reaction to circumstances is 100% controllable. We take
Yes.
life too serious sometimes, and all you can do at the end of the day, no
I just
matter
got
how
a
bad
big thumbs
life
up from Ryan. He's
is,
content.
you go through it. So that was a big deal, getting through, but I wasn't doing good. But you're acting. So you have to like, how am I supposed to, even in English, like, how am I supposed to act with you if I don't know what you're saying? But we didn't. We faked it till you make it. And I remember my teacher stopped me because I was singing La Fiamma, which is the flame or fire. And I was holding up a water bottle and he's like, stop. He's like, what are you saying right now? I was like, that is a good question. And he's like, you're singing the flame, man, like fire. You're supposed to be pointing at the fireplace and you're picking up I'm like, I'm putting out the fire, baby.
His name is Russ. He bought that mic, and now he's got a podcast show.
I did not really fit in, so to speak. I was very uncomfortable. There was tons of kids, and this dude had been building apparently like a lot of people. I guess he was going down to the middle school. Long story short, there was like 100+ kids in this choir one class, and a little bit, off from the jock world of like kind of how I grew up and people I was around, and I felt super uncomfortable. And I'm on crutches, and yeah, in a vulnerable position anyways. And I ended up, one chick was a cheerleader, and it took that one conversation to where I met her and I was like, yeah, I'll stay in here. I'll stick it out. And yeah, I think
Sometimes
the
that's
path
all
was
it takes.
interesting. Like, yeah, it was weird at first. Like, obviously I could sing, but I had never been, my grandfather was a pastor. We weren't in church like as much as we should have been. I played travel baseball growing up, so a lot of weekends were baseball. So we weren't heavily in that. I never sang in a church choir. So I didn't have very good skills of like sight reading and things like that. So I was probably timid in there. You got to get comfortable until you really show how you can sing. And it was kind of a joke to me until I found out there was 2 choirs for the high school that you had to audition for. They were going to New York City, and I had never traveled before. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to do that just to go to New York City. And I remember the guy, I was not a good, I talked a lot. So I was always kind of that class clown figure, so to speak. But long story short, man, I ended up singing and doing it. And I did enjoy singing, and I was very talented. I don't know what it is. Something I decided, I looked into it. I'm like, maybe I should minor in music. The teacher at the high school actually had a conference with my parents and was like, listen, he's the most talented like male singer I've probably came across, and like he really be wasting his, given talents if he doesn't do something with it.
Huh.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll minor in music. Man, I didn't even know a damn key on the piano, brother. I didn't know anything. I'm sitting here, I'm like, music's going to be a joke. This will be super easy. And I had my first solo in my senior year. And I remember like got up there, kicked ass, took names, felt like a beast, so to speak. And that was the time where my dad's brother was there, and he like looks at my dad and he's like, if he wants to do this, you need to let him do it. Like that was crazy. Like we had no idea he could do that. I had no idea. I
Yeah.
ended up being an opera singer. I had no idea that I could sing opera at that time. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. So I kind of had this like soft tenor, Irish tenor voice, so to speak. Yeah, to make a long story short, I went in, got accepted for my minor, thought about it, and was like, maybe I like this music thing. I changed my major from mechanical engineering to majoring in vocal performance the day before my freshman year of college. First class was piano, man. I sit down and we're all in front of our own piano. And I'm like, this is going to be a joke and this is going to be super easy. And she's like, put your right thumb on middle C. And I'm like, I don't know what middle C is. I don't know anything. I looked at the girl beside me. I'm like, hey, what's middle C? And she listens. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, I wouldn't ask if I didn't know, type of deal. And man, it came quick where I was like, I'm going to flunk out of fucking college. Like here I am in music thinking this is going to be easy. And boy, I was wrong, man. Like it was certain aspects of it I was really good at because of math, like writing, like the theoretical.
Right. Because
portion.
music is math.
Yeah. But like the hearing part and like piano's tough, man. You're doing two different things with your hands, like two rhythms, and yeah, it wasn't easy, but
I was playing
it
my
wasn't easy.
son. My son's 10 months old, and I was playing his piano this morning. There's only 5 keys on it, and I couldn't even get any type of sound out of it.
I love it.
We both have little babies right now, so we're
Yeah. Yeah. You both are
all
young
aware.
fathers at this point,
Yeah.
or young
It
fathers of
was,
young children.
yeah, I was always competitive. So, I was very good at singing. And I met my teacher up there at Charlotte. He was an opera singer, and he was fairly new, been there a few years. His wife was the doctoral cello professor there. Super smart people, but he kind of took me under his wing and, started teaching me how to sing. And I told you I was a late bloomer, probably fast forward. So there's this competition called NATS, which is like all the colleges get together. It starts out at like a state level, and
Yep.
then it goes to regional, and then ultimately to like a national thing. And it was my freshman year, and I knew I was talented in comparison to a lot of kids at Charlotte, but like Charlotte had a music school,
Right.
but not like a renowned one or anything like popular. Like the only reason I was there was because it was a good engineering school, and I just happened to switch, and they had it was convenient that they had a music school. And I went to that competition though, and they put freshmen because we're all 18 years old in like a small like. And I'd been taking lessons with this guy, and I had a big voice for my age. And I'll never forget. I was super competitive, so I'm here. I was the first person of the day, and they put me in this little room, like a practice room, and I got 4 teachers, the judges, right in front of me, and they're like writing stuff on their papers, so all their heads are down, and my pianist starts playing, and the minute the first note comes out, all their heads are like, like popped up. And, I went through my 3 pieces, smashed it. And I'll never forget, the one lady like looks at the person beside her and she's like, "I'm not supposed to talk to you right now," she said. She's like, "But how old are you?" And I was like, "I'm 18. She's like, "Holy cow." She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I remember calling my dad immediately, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm the first person to win today, but like something tells me they've never heard anything like that from the reaction. Like they weren't supposed to talk to me, like all this." And then, calls. I call him, and then I won first place in North Carolina, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then got to go to Maryland at University of Maryland, and I won, I think, first place in the regional. And this competition started growing because ultimately I ended up winning first place in the United States. I think my teacher I was an underclassman, made me compete against the upperclassmen division because of my talent. And I ended up taking first place. And it was so funny because they were all going to grad school and, singing, and they're like, "Where are you going to grad school next year?" I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a sophomore, baby." And they're like, "Dude, shut up." I'm like, "Yeah." So I ended up went through some hardships in college, man. I just wasn't in the right mindset. I don't know. I just wasn't. I wasn't the positive person I am now. I've learned a lot through my experience and kind of going through hell, so to speak, and not being in the best head place to get to who I am today. That's why I finally believe mental health's a big thing. Anxiety, depression, it's hard, but like you have to be that person that makes that change or wants that change in your life. And
Yeah.
I met a great mentor later on in my journey who really taught me like optimism and positivity, and the fact that you can't control circumstances. You can control your reaction to circumstances. Quote that, people. Circumstances are 100%
Thank that,
uncontrollable,
Ryan.
but your reaction to circumstances is 100% controllable. We
Yes.
take life too serious sometimes, and all you can do at the end of the day, no
I
matter
just got
how
a big
bad
thumbs
life
up from Ryan. He's going to
is,
tell you.
you go through it. So that was a big deal getting through. But I wasn't doing good. My teacher was pushing me for grad school, and I ended up I had a lot of auditions. I sang for somebody with Juilliard, and they're like, no questions asked. Juilliard, ironically, is not like a huge opera school, even though it's on Manhattan. The Metropolitan Opera is great, but the colleges there, Manhattan School of Music, and the and Juilliard aren't the best for opera. So Indiana University, which is out in the middle of the cornfields, the Hoosiers, you wouldn't think, but they've got probably the top opera program. They spend a lot of money. Like the campus is incredible. I mean, it's like a 4-tiered or 3-tiered mezzanine stage. It's the second largest performing arts center in the United States, behind the Metropolitan Opera. And I went out there to sing for
Is
the
that
guy.
the one? Is that the
No, it's in Bloomington. Yeah,
Bloomington? Okay.
but they do have like branches, like
Okay.
IUPUI or something like that. I don't remember, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I went out there and sang with a guy named Andreas Polimenos. He's like 70-something years old. He's a beast.
Yeah.
And I went out there and we just knocked it off, man. And I'm like, this is obviously like the best place you could be. And when you're in opera, like the school's important, but like who you're studying with and who you're, as males, our voices aren't really mature until we're in our 30s. So you need to be in like a good position of someone who's teaching you, healthy, style or technique and really getting that foundation set for when your voice is 100% mature. School is just in opera, I like to say it's a bridge to your professional career, staying busy, learning music, doing all those things that, get you to that career path where you get paid ultimately. But yeah, I auditioned there. I ended up being the #1 audition at the school. I got a full scholarship. I mean, that was out of state was like something like it's close to $100,000 education out of state for your grad school.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got like the highest scholarship was like 99.5% or some craziness. And I was a teacher, so I got a paycheck. I got, insurance coverage through the school. But man, I talk about the mindset. I almost didn't go. I worked in hotels as well. My dad's been a GM
Right. I
for
remember that.
my entire life. And I was thinking about I really wasn't doing good. I mean, I barely got through undergrad. It felt like it was never ending. I'm not a school person. I hate school. And even opera, man, there's so much more. It's not just singing. A lot
But
of that.
you didn't hate school when it was something that you were passionate about.
Yeah.
You
Even
hated
then,
school
I
when
love singing.
other people are telling you what to study. But when you were passionate about it, you loved it.
Yeah.
I
But that
can
was the thing
hear
with
it.
opera is I loved singing,
Yes.
but I didn't love all the shit that went into it.
Oh yeah.
Foreign languages. I have a funny joke because I was a goofball in undergrad. We'd be singing in Italian and we were doing this big opera, La Boheme, and I was playing Rodolfo and I was notorious. All of us were. We were undergrad, we were young. We weren't learning what everybody's saying, but you're acting. So you have to how am I supposed to, even in English, how am I supposed to act with you if I don't know what you're saying? But we didn't. We faked it till you make it. And I remember my teacher stopped me because I was singing La Fiamma, which is the flame or fire. And I was holding up a water bottle. And he's like, stop. He's like, what are you saying right now? I was like, that is a good question. And he's like, you're singing the flame, man, fire. You're supposed to be pointing at the fireplace and you're picking up I'm like, I'm putting out the fire, baby. I had a tremendous talent. I didn't hear many kids that were singing like me at that age, but I struggled. I loved the whole process of singing and I was super talented, but that work to be really great, I wasn't passionate enough about it to where I was, studying the languages, really learning, this is 400, 500 pages of music that you need to be learning a foreign language. And
Oh wow.
I never was in acting. I didn't do plays and stuff like that. So it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but ultimately, it was a love-hate relationship because I did love it. I can't sit here and lie and say I didn't. My mindset, I ran from fear. Anxiety, I believe, is procrastination and fear. Instead of if I was in the headspace I'm in now and how I see things, different person. But at that time, I had to go through that path, realizing I was super anxious, not handling it well because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I was avoiding it and I was.
Went to a bar, refused to shine, didn't buy no beer, and said, I'll tell you what, my name is Russ, I'm on the mic, so listen to my podcast show. Russ might say a thing or two that you don't want to hear, tell you what he's thinking, just some good ideas. He's got some rowdy friends, he's gonna have them on the show. If you need some information, Russ will tell you where to go. If you feeling down or feeling mighty low, Russ will talk about money and watching that money grow. His name is Russ. He's got the microphone. Now he's got a podcast show. His name is Russ. He's got the microphone. Now he's got a podcast show. Yeah. Oh, Russell.
Scared, and instead of hitting it head on,